What is up, everybody? Welcome into the Fantasy Corner here at Wide Eye Sports for Week 7. As always, Bryn hosting. We got Riley and Spoon here this week. We're going to get into everything Week 7 fantasy. We're going to give you must starts. We're going to give you waiver wire, and we're going to give you buy sells. So we're going to make this quick. We're going to get right into things so you can get those waiver wire claims in. Let's start with waiver wire must adds, just so people can get it in as soon as possible.
I have a big one for quarterback.
I was going to say start with QBs. Go.
Okay, so I mean, it's not like anything in particular, but I'm looking at a league that I'm in right now, and he is sitting there, and that's Sam Darnold. If you have not picked him up yet, get him now. He has a super easy schedule coming up pretty quick. He's going to help you win some games in the next few weeks, so I would definitely be grabbing him.
Sammy D and that buzzsaw. They're gonna play Detroit. JJ's gonna have. I'm giving a little.
Which people, I was gonna say, people are gonna be sitting there and being like, "Oh, but he plays Detroit. That's a tough matchup." Not really. They give up a lot of.
They get a lot of passing yards.
A lot of passing yards. They're great defense on the ground, but that's it. Once the Vikings start passing the ball, Sam Darnold's going to put up a shit ton of fantasy points.
Yeah, I agree completely. Also, just rookie QBs this season, just in general. Drake May, Caleb Williams, Bo Nix, for God's sakes, with his rushing ability. I mean, any rookie QB right now, at least, I feel safe in a dire situation spot starting any QBs. So you got a guy on bye week. Buys are coming around. Pat Mahomes is just on bye last week. You got all his buys coming up. Throw in Caleb. Throw in Drake May. Fuck it. This isn't that bad.
You brought up Bo Nix too. I was gonna say in the last 2 weeks. Okay, so if you take into account the last 4 weeks, you just put an asterisk beside the Jets game. He's averaging 20 fantasy points a game right now. Bo Nix is. So he's
only having to throw the ball like 3 yards each time. So that on top, he's just gonna grow.
Yeah.
I've been thinking about this for a while, and it's probably could be its own topic. But I think the jump from college to the NFL is smaller than ever. I think college has gotten more pro ready, and the NFL has gotten more college schemes and systems.
College friendly.
Yes, college friendly. And
I see that.
I think that's why we keep seeing these rookie quarterbacks who are coming out and playing good.
I think for quarterback and receivers, it has. For the rest of the board, I feel like it's still meh. But you get your
quarterbacks.
Well, I mean, receiver too. JJ, Jamar Chase, Puka Nacua, Malik Neighbors, Brian Thomas Jr. All these guys are having pretty instant success in the NFL. Jaden Daniels having instant success in the NFL, and CJ Stroud. A bunch of guys. I mean, Caleb Williams have 5 touchdown passes this weekend.
4 touchdown passes.
Yeah.
4, and almost had a 5th to DJ Moore on a toss.
And here's my thing with him. Everybody's been talking shit on him the first couple weeks. Like, now he's a viable fantasy starter at this point. Like, I'm pretty sure I started him in a league last week or maybe 2 weeks ago.
Breaking news. Vikings trade for Cam Akers.
Okay.
Swear to God. I just got the Vikings trade for Cam Akers isn't a reflection of any long-term concerns with Aaron Jones, who could play Sunday, just an added depth piece via Tom Pelissero. So Ty Chandler stock goes down. Yeah. It was really weird. Time out for just a second. That was a really weird situation in the offseason. There was a report at the beginning of July that Cam Akers had re-signed with the Minnesota Vikings. Like, it was on the NFL's transaction website pending a physical. They never said he failed the physical. There was just a new report that he signed with the Houston Texans. And nobody ever brought it up again. It was super weird. But Ty Chandler stock down, Cam Akers stock up behind Aaron Jones. I really liked Cam Akers last year and what he did for us. The team really liked him, and they really wanted him back. So obviously they went out and got him.
Is that your waiver wire pickup for the?
I mean, honestly, if you're in like a dynasty or a deeper league like that, like a 12-man dynasty, you should definitely throw a 5th round pick out there, that kind of thing. Give me 1 second. I got some technical difficulties going on. Spoon, will you take over this for just a second? I'll be right back.
Yeah, that's fine. Riley, do you have any QBs waiver wire pickups?
Not for QBs, but I do have one that is a little bit shocking, I guess.
Okay, let's hear it.
right now, Baker Mayfield is in this league I'm looking at is rated as the QB2 overall, and he's being started in less than 70% of leagues.
Okay.
Who has Baker Mayfield on their roster and is starting someone else over them? He has been there's been one quarterback better than him in fantasy all season, and wow, okay, I see how you're one of the 3-10.
I am, and the only reason why, let me just double check the reason, but I have Jordan Love, and he had a better matchup, I thought, against Arizona, which they both put up a shit ton of points. Jordan Love and Baker both put up a lot of points last week. So, like, it didn't screw me out of anything, but I'm just saying, like, I did start Jordan Love because I like the Arizona matchup better than I did the Baker New Orleans Saints matchup.
Which turned into a nuts game,
dude,
hanging 51 up on them.
Yeah, I thought it was going to be much closer. I thought it was going to be a hard-nosed division. Yeah, hard-nosed division game. I didn't think it was going to be that high scoring, so it was definitely my fault for not starting Baker, but I still started Jordan Love. But back to your point, yeah, if you're not starting Baker, I don't know what you're doing.
And I do. Baker's going up against Baltimore this week. Last week, in the last podcast, we kind of went into the woes the Baltimore defense was having as far as letting up a bunch of points and a bunch of yards. I like Baker Mayfield going up against Baltimore at home.
Yeah, surprisingly, Baltimore's been giving up quite a few fantasy points to QBs this year. So yeah, I mean, I already made the move. Let me just double check and make sure that I'm not lying to you. So yeah, I already made the lineup switch. Jordan Love's playing Houston. I have Baker playing Baltimore. I'm taking Baker against Baltimore this week.
Yep.
Oh. All right, you want to move to running backs? You got any waiver wire picks for running back?
Not off the waiver wire. I feel like all the leagues I'm in, the waiver wires are just bare. You're picking up the guys who have not played a snap yet.
Yeah, I mean, you're not wrong. Like the league that I'm looking at right now is a league of people that aren't very active. So like I still have Jonathan Brooks on my waiver, which if he's on your waiver, go ahead and pick him up. He's about to get some more playing time in the next couple weeks because he's coming back from his injury. He's not, I wouldn't say start him yet, but man, I don't even know if he's going to be a liable option to start just because Chuba Hubbard's been playing so well that they're probably going to slowly ease Jonathan Brooks back into the lineup. So, but Jonathan Brooks is definitely worth a bench spot for sure. If you haven't gotten Tyrone Tracy yet or Tank Bigsby, go ahead and pick him up. I have Travis Etienne. I was late to pick up Tank Bigsby. Kind of screwed me because Travis Etienne is just not doing it.
Tank, he got a bunch of carries against the Bears, if I remember right. I was kind of surprised by how many touches he was getting.
Yeah, he had 16 carries, which definitely go for that. I don't even know how many Etienne had.
Yeah, and 16 carries, that's a starting running back amount of carries. That's a large load.
Yep.
I do feel like I owe the viewers at home an apology.
For saying to start him last week?
Just for saying to start Roschon Johnson last week. It was his first game where he didn't have a touchdown, had less than 10 points. I was debating on whether or not to wait a week before I finally went out on the take, and I was like, no, I'm just going to do it now. And then he has a stinker.
Oh, that's my fault. So I'm looking at projections. He's projected to get 16 carries, but yeah, Bigsby only got 7 last week, and which is still more than what Etienne did. But honestly, that's kind of a scratch game for me because Jacksonville was basically getting their butts kicked by your Chicago Bears the whole game, so they ended up just having to pass the ball a whole lot more. I see it being a lot different this week against New England, so I would definitely be trying to get him off the waiver, or if you already have him off the waiver, he's definitely a viable option to start for sure. Brenner, we're talking about running backs right now.
Yeah, sorry about that, guys. I had some family issues going. I helped take care of my grandma. She was having some issues, so all back. Technical difficulties taken care of.
No, I just brought up Jonathan Brooks, Tyrone Tracy, Tank Bigsby. There's just not a whole lot to go off of, but I mean, if these guys are still
Tyrone Tracy was mine. I had Ty Chandler here, but he is out the window now with Cam Akers being back.
Yep.
Have we talked about wide receivers yet?
Nope. That's what we're going to next.
I only have one.
Okay.
Any Packers wide receiver. If they're available, pick them up. They're all B-plus receivers. Yeah, Romeo Dobbs, Christian Watson, Reed's
Yep.
probably not available, but if he is, pick him up. But
Not in any of my leagues. I already sniped him.
any Packer receiver, just go ahead and pick them up. They're eventually, it's boom or bust with them. Like everybody's going to get a turn type situation, but they're good to
Right.
have on your roster for tough situations, tough bye week, stuff like that. So Packers wide receivers for sure.
No, I totally agree.
You did miss out. I apologize to the audience. I will not apologize to you because you're my brother for saying to start Roschon Johnson last week.
I mean, what
The one
bolt is that, dude?
the one
I go to
time
this
you
guy
listened to
and
me.
I listen to him and I trust in his advice. And what does Roschon do? 4 points. They get on the goal line towards the end of the game. DJ Moore has a on the goal line, like falls just short of the goal line. They're on the 1. They're up like 22 points. I'm like, oh, this is prime backup running back goal line territory. What do? They march DeAndre Swift out there. Roschon Johnson, certified bust, borderline unstartable. Leave him off your team. Leave him on the waiver. He was a couple week thing. Leave him alone. I'm salty.
Okay.
All right, tight ends. Anybody got any more receivers? Tight ends?
Nope. Receivers are basically the same. It's I mean, if you haven't gotten any of these receivers yet that we've been listing off,
Yeah.
like
You're too late. I mean, I would say Zach Ertz for tight end for Washington. Anybody on that Washington offense that's available right now, I would snag.
Yep,
So
that's fair.
yeah, that's about my only tight end waiver wire nab. Anybody else got anything?
Yeah, I don't really have a whole lot for tight end either because I mean I just stream tight end, so usually most of the guys that I go after are still sitting there, and I just start based off a matchup. So I don't just leave them there. I don't want you guys picking up anybody off the waiver. Okay, don't be picking up any tight ends off the waiver. They're all for me. All right.
Yeah,
I would say a sneaky pickup in Dynasty is Eric All, the rookie tight end for Cincinnati.
Okay.
He has started getting some more playing time, getting some targets. Really hasn't had a breakout game yet, but with Joe Burrow being his quarterback, I mean, I would take whoever Joe Burrow's throwing the ball to, and especially a rookie who over the next couple of years may turn out to have a big portion of that Cincinnati passing attack of that offense. I would go ahead and pick him up.
I like that pickup because right now their starting tight end is Mike Gesicki. He's getting a little older. He's slowing down a little bit. I wouldn't be surprised if that rookie tight end comes in and starts taking more reps away from him, especially like towards the end of the season. Maybe even you might have to wait till next year, but in Dynasty, yeah, for sure.
And especially with, correct me if I'm wrong, T. Higgins is supposed to hit free agency this year, right?
I'm not 100%. I'm not 100% on that. Not 100%.
I think that's something you just got to wait for.
we can
speculate, but
we can I can look up contract details in just a minute. But first, let's get to must start players this week. We're going to go rapid fire with this: quarterbacks, wide receivers, running backs, tight ends. Let's start with quarterbacks. I'm going to start with an easy one. Jalen Hurts against the New York Giants. He's been up and down. If you have Jalen Hurts and you have stuck with him this far, it's all about to pay off. He has the easiest quarterback schedule ever created coming up. Every single one of his games, except for one, the remainder of the season, is a bottom 15 matchup. Every single one. I mean, he is about to have every easy matchup you can think of. So Jalen Hurts is my start of the week this week at quarterback.
Hell yeah.
Anybody else?
Yeah, I mean, before you got on, I'd kind of talked about it, but I really like Baker going in playing Baltimore this week.
I figured Spoon would have that, so I left that alone.
We talked on the podcast last week about kind of the woes the Baltimore defense is having against quarterbacks, and Baker Mayfield coming off a 51-point game last week, playing at home. I really like Baker versus Baltimore this week.
So T. Higgins is scheduled to be a free agent. He's playing on the franchise tag this year. So just to conclude that. But anyways,
Eric Hall could get a bigger target share next year.
Yeah. But anyways, Spoon?
I'm just going to say a couple here that are must starts if you have them at QB. It's Jaden Daniels, obviously, going against Carolina. That should be an easy matchup. Should be putting up a lot of points. Riley said it, Baker against Baltimore, Sam Darnold against Detroit. I'm kind of eyeing Justin Herbert against Arizona a little bit.
Yeah.
But I don't hate that start if you have to pick up somebody off the waiver. So
Yeah. All right. Well, those are our must-start quarterbacks. We're going to move on to wide receiver here. And my wide receiver, I have two. One, Jamar Chase.
Yep.
Two, Justin Jefferson. Cincinnati against Cleveland. Minnesota against Detroit. Two divisional matchups. Two of the best in the game at what they do. Start them both. I mean, start them both every week, but big must-starts this week. Riley?
So my biggest start, and I try and not go for the easy ones, unlike you, Brenner. But
Give the people what they want.
My start of the week is going to be Alan Lazard. I don't think that there's all this talk about Devontae Adams going to the Jets. I don't think he'll start against.
They've already said he's starting. They've already said his hamstring is all good to go now, and he's starting.
It's funny how that works.
Yeah, funny how that works. We'll talk more about that on the actual podcast tomorrow. So just keep an eye out for that, but we'll cover that in more detail over there.
Has been a favorite up until this point of Aaron Rodgers on the Jets, and I like going up against Pittsburgh.
The Green Bay Jets?
Yes.
Is it the Green Bay Jets or is it the New York Packers?
Man, I kind of like the New York Packers.
I think it's the New York Packers.
I think it's the New York Packers. But anyways, continue.
I think that they have that one good corner. Is it Joey Porter?
Yeah.
I think he'll
Penn State alum.
Say that again.
Penn State alum.
I think he'll either be on Devontae Adams or Garrett Wilson. I think that leaves a lot of targets going to Alan Lazard.
Fair.
He's my start of the week.
Spoon?
Yeah, so I'm going to go ahead and say Mike Evans against Baltimore. I really like him this week. I also like on the other side, I like Zay Flowers. I see this game being a high-scoring game. Neither defense can really stop the pass very well. I feel like both of these guys are going to get a ton of targets. And to counter your Jamar Chase, I must go ahead and point out T. Higgins. He's been getting a shit ton of
him too.
He's been getting a ton of receptions. They're going
that paid off for me in fantasy so big.
Yeah.
I've been holding on to T. Higgins, and he comes back the first week, got 6 points. So I'm like, oh no, what if I held on to him for nothing? And then the past 3 weeks he's blown up. So huge come up.
Yep. So I really like him. Kind of keeping an eye on Malik Neighbors.
This is must starts, not keep eye.
I know, but I'm just Malik Neighbors, if I knew he was playing for sure, he would be my start of the week just because he's going against Philly, and I don't like Philly's secondary. So
all right, fair enough. All right, let's move on to running backs. And my running back, Riley, you say I only pick easy ones. My running back start of the week is J.K. Dobbins. I feel like he's really flown under the radar here. The Baltimore OC went to play under Harbaugh, and he brought Gus Edwards, brought J.K. Dobbins over there with him. They like Dobbins over there, dude. He is their bell cow. He is, when Gus Edwards is going to get, similar to a Breece Hall, Braylon Allen's type backfield, where one of them is going to get high single digits and the other one's going to get high double digits. And J.K. is that high double digit carries guy, and he's a start of the week for me this week.
My start of the week at running back is Austin Eckler going up against Carolina. He has been crazy efficient with the amount of touches he has and the yardage he's producing. Had a rough week on the ground last week, but this week going up against Carolina, I imagine they'll have a lead early. They'll be running the ball a lot, dumping the ball off a lot. I think Austin Eckler will have a good game.
Spoon?
Yeah. So I usually go on and on, say multiple. I'm just going to say two here. Kyren Williams against Las Vegas, must start. Yep. And then I'm throwing Tony Pollard against Buffalo.
I like it.
Must start.
I like that one.
So
I like that one a lot. I like both of those. Tight ends. This one's going to be controversial, okay? But this guy's going to get a lot of targets. I'm putting this guy as my must start due to volume, okay? Because on paper, it's not a great matchup. But volume speaks louder than words, and that is Travis Kelce against the 49ers. Yes, the 49ers have one of the best middle linebackers in the NFL in Fred Warner. Yes, he's elite in coverage, but Travis Kelce is the only real certifiable weapon they have on offense right now, and Mahomes is going to go to his guy. He's going to give him 11, 12 targets this week. He's going to have 5 to 7 catches and probably a touchdown. Just off volume alone, he's my must start.
So my must-start tight end is going to be Pat Freiermuth going up against the Jets.
Yeah.
I think that Jets secondary is going to lock down Pittsburgh's wide receivers. I think the only place Fields is going to be able to go to the ball is to Pat Freiermuth. So I think he'll have a big day for those reasons.
All right. Spoon?
So I'm pretty sure I said his name a week ago or 2 weeks ago. He's been very consistent the last couple weeks. I'm going to keep riding with him, and that's Kyle Pitts.
Oh,
Great match.
Great. Hold on.
He has a great matchup against Seattle. I like the matchup.
When are we gonna? When is the hype gonna die down around Kyle?
It's dead. It's
I
dead.
feel like I have heard every year. since
Kirk
he was
Cousins had to throw for
drafted,
500 yards to make Kyle Pitts fantasy certified. Like he has, like
I always hear this is the year. It's kind of like Trevor Lawrence. This is the year Kyle Pitts is gonna break out.
Hold on. You say that. Trevor Lawrence had 5 touchdowns dropped in the game last week. Trevor Lawrence is not the issue in Jacksonville. The issue is the receivers can't catch football. Okay, he's not the issue. Is he actively overcoming their issues? No. Does he deserve $55 million a year? No. Is he the issue? No. He's a top 15 quarterback. He's not a top 10 quarterback, but he's a top 15 guy. And if you put a great roster around him, he would win games. They are playing terrible football around him.
I like Trevor Lawrence. So
I like him. I'm not top 10. Like I'm not at the level of like I would still take like a Dak Prescott or a Kirk Cousins or those guys over him.
I don't even know if I'd take Dak over him at this point. I'd probably be fine with Trevor Lawrence.
That's a different. Wait, let's not get into it. We're in fantasy.
Okay.
Spoon, you have some buy sell candidates.
I have a couple.
Correct. Oh, Spoon. Oh, there we are.
Yes.
All right, we got some buy sell candidates.
I came back in. So the first one, just to make it easy, Chuba Hubbard.
Chuba Hubbard. Is it Chuba or Chuba?
It's Chuba.
Oh, my bad.
You're good. Chuba Hubbard. What are you guys doing with him?
I'm selling. With Brooks coming back. I'm selling.
I'm selling on the Carolina Panthers. I'd sell.
That's fair. Anybody on the Panthers? You're like sell.
I'm giving up.
All right. Next up.
Alan Lazard. What are you guys doing with him?
Buying.
Okay.
I know what you're gonna say, Riley, with Devontae Adams going there. Dude, Rodgers loves Lazard. The only reason Lazard is in the NFL right now is because Aaron Rodgers loves him so much. He's gonna get at least 5 targets a game every week. It's gonna happen. Regardless of who's there. Garrett Wilson's targets will split in half with Devontae, and Lazard will still get his 5 targets every single week.
Man.
Including, he's a big body guy, so including red zone targets. Rodgers loves the dude.
Oh, yeah.
Rodgers has truly loved 3 dudes in his career: Jordy Nelson, Randall Cobb, Alan Lazard. And you might be able to throw Devontae in there now.
Yeah,
but for sure those 3.
Okay, well, then I have another one for the same team. Garrett Wilson.
Sell.
You sell Garrett Wilson at this point?
Yeah. I think his targets are about to get cut in half.
And if I'm Garrett Wilson, I'm pissed.
Yeah, I'm pissed. I say that. If I'm Garrett Wilson, I'm happy that the team's getting better and that we're going to probably win more games and that I'm going to get freed up more. But at the same time, like, I'm not good enough. I'm not good enough to win us get it depends on how big your ego is, really.
He's an NFL wide receiver. You got to think it's big.
Yeah. We'll talk more about that subject on the podcast that will air tomorrow morning. So make sure to tune in for that. Riley, but you're selling as well?
Yeah, I think I am. I know I just said he's a must start, but
yeah. This week, while Devontae's still working into the offense.
Yes, I think you've got a week left before he's really has a big role in the offense, and I want to wait to see what that looks like.
Okay. All right.
Before I buy into Alan Lazard again.
Okay. All right. Now let's move. I want to move on to something different now. I just want to ask: are you guys trading these guys, or are you guys dropping them? Like, are you guys done?
What are we doing with these?
What are you gonna do with these players? Because you're not buying these guys. I know that. Travis Etienne. What are you guys doing with him?
Trading. I'm trying to pawn him off. If there's a 1-4 guy in your league, try to pawn him off now before he gets no touches anymore. Try to pawn him off for George Pickens, Jordan Addison, somebody with high upside that hasn't done a whole lot to this point. Like, try to pawn him off.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm kind of in that same boat. I'm sure you'll be able to get someone to trade for him off name value. And then he'll just produce whatever he produces, just try and rob someone blind.
Yep.
Cool.
Spoon?
Cool. I had one more that I
Yeah.
wanted to ask what you're doing with him. I lost him. I had it written down.
I have one. If
Go ahead.
you don't.
Say yours.
So what are you doing with this guy, Michael Pittman?
I wish you had the answers for me on that one.
So I have had Michael Pittman in multiple fantasy leagues, and I have hung on to him and hung on to him. And as soon as I start him, he starts playing bad. As soon as I put him back on the bench, he has a huge game.
Yeah.
I would probably just sell him to avoid the headache.
Yeah.
As
I would
a-
get
as a-
whatever. I'm in that same
Michael-
boat. Get whatever you can.
Yes, as a Michael Pittman, someone who has them on their roster, just avoid the headache.
Yeah.
Get
I-
rid of
So
Spoon?
well, I'm gonna say I'm with you on that. Like, I understand, but I'm keeping Pittman as like my last option, basically for buys. That is all
Okay.
I'm doing, just
That's
in
not
hopes,
terrible.
that hey, like for instance, this week I do
Start with a high flex.
yes, and that's what I have to do. I have to start him this week. He is going in my flex spot against Miami. I don't hate the matchup, but I need him to come in because I had a couple injuries, and I'm fine with him
Hey,
being my
Spoon,
flex.
hear
start.
me out here. Hear me out here. Go find who has Travis Etienne and see what they'll get. No, I'm just kidding. All right, no. Well, all right, anybody got anything else they want to add for the fantasy episode before we wrap this up? Anything else? Any? All right. Well, all right. That's it for the fantasy episode. Make sure to tune into the regular podcast tomorrow. Wednesday it'll be airing. So other than that, thank you guys for sticking around. We'll see you guys next time.
See ya.